Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to show you how I made an A5 sized wire-bound doodle planner for Julia. This is the layout that I made on Adobe InDesign. It's really just a planner with a lot of open areas where she can doodle. But she doesn't absolutely have to doodle. She can place stickers on them instead, or sticky notes, or she can just leave them blank. It will also look nice that way. Julia just started senior high school and she's on the track to become an artist, so I thought she might enjoy the extra areas for doodling in her planner. It's one page per day, and the categories that are in each day are the ones that she told me she needs for school and the other things that she wants to do outside of school. And she also told me that lately there have been more things that she needed to do, and sometimes she forgets them. So she asked me to make a planner for her with customized pages. So I was only happy to help. It has a Monday start, and the Monday page has an entire page next to it where she can write what important things she has to remember for the week. The Saturday and Sunday pages are together in one spread so that she can have full view of her entire weekend. The planner starts on August 1 and ends on December 31, 2018. This is the paper that I used. It's the IFEX paper purchased from the paper bar in National Bookstore Megamall branch. It's a very light cream color and one pack has 50 sheets and it cost 140 pesos per pack. It's very smooth and it's the A4 size. It says right there on the label. So I bought it because I thought I could just cut it in half to make A5. But when I actually measured it, it's the right width, but it's taller than what it should be. So I could not just trim it in half. But it's still important to me to make the perfectly correct A5 dimensions, so I trimmed each sheet twice instead of just once. It's a very small difference. As you can see, the excess paper is really just a very narrow sliver. It took me just one pack of the paper to make this entire doodle planner because this is just for the rest of the year, which is August 1 to December 31, as you saw. So I went ahead and printed the layout on the A5 sheets that I have just made, and I also printed out these side tabs to mark the months. I used a pair of scissors to trim the side tabs to the proper size, and then I folded them over and just used a glue stick to attach it to the right edge of the spread for the month. I simply placed the August tab on the topmost part of the spread for August and then placed the December tab on the bottommost part of the spread for December, and then I used a ruler to find the exact center of the area so that I would know exactly where to place the October tab. For the September and the November tabs, I simply eyeballed them to make sure that they are completely centered between the other tabs that were to be on either side of them. Sorry if my head kept getting in the way. I had to make sure I was pasting things where they were supposed to be. And then after the inside pages were done, I went ahead and worked on the covers. I'm using this sort of dark rose cardstock that I also purchased from the paper bar. I took photos of 3 different pink ones while I was in the paper bar, and Julia picked this one. I wanted the covers to not be exactly A5. I wanted them to be a little wider to protect the side tabs that were jutting out of what was going to be the foredge of the planner. So I took one of the tab sheets and used that as a template for figuring out exactly how wide the covers should be. And then I trimmed the cover. And then I used that one as a template for cutting the other cover so that they would have exactly the same dimensions. And then I cut the overlay that I wanted to use. This is just a sheet of textured non-woven material that I got from the same National Bookstore branch in Megamall. It's actually a gift wrapper and it's a very pale pink, as you can see, and the flower art you see on it is white and it is actually raised, and there is a very light sprinkling of silver glitter on the entire thing. I think it looks very dainty and it suits Julia, who is a girly girl, but I told her that she can just take it out if she doesn't like it. I used the dark rose cover that I already cut earlier as a template, and then used the Fiskars paper trimmer to cut the overlay down to the right size. By the way, I also have a review of this paper trimmer in my channel, and I will leave a link for you down below. Now for the main cover, I have this hard card case that's US letter sized. I also purchased this in National Bookstore for about 40 pesos, and it's supposed to hold 1 or 2 sheets of paper inside of it and to protect the paper from getting bent or wet. I trimmed off the borders and then I trimmed it down even further using the dark rose cardstock as a template. The plastic is thick and quite rigid, so it's perfect as a notebook or planner cover. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit worried about how my rotary trimmer on the paper trimmer would hold up, but it held up really, really well. This planner has 97 sheets of inside pages, plus the 6 extra sheets as cover materials. And the cardstock and the plastic sheets are of course thicker than the inside pages, so it is thick enough. And I did measure the thickness of this planner using the measuring slots in the locking tool of the binding system, as you can see here, and it is a little bit tight, a teeny tiny bit thicker than the maximum thickness that the largest wire can handle, which is 13 millimeters. I took a ruler to measure the actual thickness of the whole planner, and it was a little over 14 millimeters thick. But I decided to take the risk and see what happens. If it really doesn't work, I can always take it apart and then have this bound elsewhere. And then it was time to punch. I'm using the Carl Tosical wire binding system, like I said, and this is the puncher that it came with. I have talked about this binding system before in a few of my previous videos, and I will link those videos down below in the description box just in case you're interested. To bind this planner, I am using the white 13 millimeter double loop wire from the Carl Tosical line. I counted the number of holes in the planner that I just punched and then counted the loops in the wire that I needed to leave in and then cut off the excess. And finally, it was time to lock the wires into the planner. I inserted the wire into this slot to keep it in place. Always remember when using this binding system to take the back covers out, place them on the front of the front covers, and then place everything into the wires in that exact order. And then, after you're done, just take everything out of the slot, lock the wire into place, and then fold the back cover from the front into its proper place in the back. And here is Julia's finished doodle planner. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. My only complaint about this planner is that I should have made the inside margins a little wider because those lines are a little too close to the wires, but that's just me. I can do the wider inside margins on the next planner. As you can see, the pages flip quite easily to my surprise. It's just a little bit tight when we hit the pages for December. I knew that this was going to happen, but it was a risk that I decided to take because it would be a little awkward to have December or November and December on a separate volume, and the tightness of the wires in December isn't too much. It's just a little bit tight, but it's not too disturbing. I also got the sticky notes set from the same National Bookstore branch in Mega Mall. I'm not sure if these stick well, but I just think that it is pretty because of the colors. And that is my video for you today. I hope you were able to get some ideas from this one. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye!